Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. This is Justice League number 4, the Totality Part 4, I think is what it's called. Yep. Okay, so the last issue it was alright. It was a lot of talking. And honestly, the second issue is kind of the same way. It was a bit more interesting, I guess. But still, just too much talking, too much backstory, not enough action. And going over to Marvel, just real fast, Avengers was making the same mistake, and thus far is still making the same mistake. However, Justice League seems to have figured it out. Scott Snyder, who wrote a really good Batman run with the New 52, but then wrote an okay-ish, not really that fantastic Superman series called Superman Unchained. Now, to be fair, I haven't read it all the way through. I just read the first issue, but it didn't grab me. And then I don't know what he's been on up until this point, but now he's on Justice League, and I'm excited. I have been excited for that because he seems like he's got a classic style. And takes more, not well, like he adds the narration and everything, and I don't know, I just kind of enjoy his style of writing, but he writes too much. If that makes sense. He writes too much backstory. He tries to over explain things, and it just slows the story down. However, in this one, we finally get some good action. So it starts off with a little bit of backstory about Grodd. And this is actually some interesting backstory. Most of the time, backstory is like, all right, get on with it. But this, well, I'll just explain what's going on. So, Grodd, when he was a kid, was beaten by his father, ignored by the other super gorillas, and it was for his own good, they said, to make him strong. But Grodd had a secret. He could do things with his mind that no other gorilla could do. So you see him here. He just says go to the boulder, moves right out of the way. And we see he's got this explorer trapped. And he's begging Grodd for mercy. Please, my feet. The flesh is worn off. The bone is... I can see the... Please! So he's obviously in distress. So basically it's talking about how Grodd had figured out that the explorer wanted to make him take him away and make him dance behind glass. And that's when Grodd understood every living thing had secret motives. His father beat him because he was ashamed. The explorer wanted to feel power over the gorilla. And so, because he had wanted to make Grodd dance, Grodd decided to make the explorer dance. And so he just says dance faster. And for those of you who don't know, Grodd has mind control. So he's making this guy dance, literally dance his feet off. It's really kind of disturbing, but makes it interesting for sure. And then we cut straight into action, which is always a plus. Better to start off with a little bit of action or deep story than just an overview or kind of a recap of what happened in the last issue. Anyway, everybody's in character here, even Martian Manhunter, who in last issue was kind of bullheaded. It explained it a little bit more. He feels like he can get answers from these creatures. He's fighting them, but he is also kind of entranced with their knowledge. So Superman has to rescue him, get him out of the way. And then inside of Superman and Martian Manhunter, Joker is attacking Hawk Girl, and Lex Luthor is attacking Batman. Sorry for that glare. My normal spot is there's stuff in the way, so I'm not recording there this time. So yeah, it's some good action, some tense moments. You don't really see what happens with Hawk Girl. You don't, you know, Joker's there with a chainsaw trying to chop her head off, and then Batman hears that laugh, and his mind reels. Some good narration there. And see, that's what I'm talking about. Most comics don't really have this narration so much. It's usually either a character giving the narration, or they don't just have it. But to have it gives a little bit more to the story, I think. It makes it more like reading an actual book, and helps you get into the characters a little bit more. For some people, it might not be their thing, and sometimes it can be overdone and things can be overexplained. But for the most part, I liked it. So anyway, Luthor destroys Batman's miniature pod, whatever it's called. And apparently, the human body can survive inside the bloodstream, because he doesn't have a suit on here or anything. So, I mean, I guess, it would basically just be a blood bath, except everything is red. I don't really know. It'd be... I mean, I guess it makes sense that he's alright, but... Anyway, he ends up getting swallowed. And I think that's the last we see of Batman for the whole issue, so that's kind of a cliffhanger there. Then we see Green Lantern and Cyborg trying to take on Sinestro, but Sinestro just shatters Green Lantern's ring, which, man, I had this when I was like 13. It was one of my first times going to the comic book shop, if not the first time. It might have been first or second time, maybe third, I don't know. Anyway, they had this jar of like different colors of Green Lantern rings, like, green, yellow, blue, red, white, black, and whatever other ones there are. And I ended up getting the white one because my brother got the green one, even though, I mean, he's not really a comic book guy. I guess he still wanted one, and he got the green one, which I probably would have gotten that one, but the white one looked cool, so I got that one. Man, and I have not been able to find that thing in like a year, and I want to be able to find it. It was pretty cool. So anyway, apparently Sinestro infused John Stewart's cells with the ultraviolet energy, making the transformation permanent, and apparently he'll never be a Green Lantern again. So, another cliffhanger there. So some good, stuff is actually happening. It's not just a bunch of talking, or like last issue, Sinestro just going and finding out about the ultraviolet core. We actually get to see that. We actually get to see something happen with that. And then Flash, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman are taking on these hybrid white Martian, Amazon, Atlantean, and human beings, I guess. I think that's what they're all a hybrid of. And finally, Flash is in character, which is really refreshing. The first 3 issues, he was not. He was just a very obnoxious millennial soy boy. And it just was not Barry Allen. This actually reads like Barry Allen. You could actually like picture Grant Gustin saying this. The Flash of the first 3 issues was more of like a Wally West, even like an obnoxious Wally West. Like Wally West is kind of obviously younger, but he's still not as annoying as this Flash was. So Grodd shows up, and he's forcing everybody like to stay still. They can't move. And he ends up... So he... I'm trying to think of a good way to explain this. It's really simple. He just makes the other Justice League members look like their enemies. So Aquaman looks like Cheetah, and Wonder Woman looks like Black Manta. And so when they go thinking they're fighting their bad guys, they end up fighting each other, which is actually a concept straight out of the Justice League cartoon, which is cool. So, you know, Barry isn't all like, oh, that's not cool, man, you know, that's lame. No, he's actually like, leave them alone, Grodd. This is between you and me. So, that, just the subtle differences, you know, just, and I mean, I don't really think they're subtle. I think it's pretty obvious, but to some people, I guess it might be subtle, but it makes such a huge difference. And, you know, no, I'll stop you. Rather than, I'm coming for you, or, you know, you're gonna pay now. No, he's gonna put a stop to it. You know, you're gonna hurt, and he's, you know, putting his all, because obviously he's having to fight against Grodd's control over him to make him still. So that scene's cool. Really, this was a really fun book to read. This is what a comic book should be. If every other issue was like this and read like this, I would be very happy, very, very happy. It took 3 issues to get into the groove, but I really hope that he keeps going on with this. So Scott Snyder, if you're watching this, keep it up. This is fantastic. This was amazing. And, you know, it was a good pace. I think I finished this in probably like 15 minutes. Some comics, it honestly takes like 20 or 25 minutes to get through because there's so much dialogue. And I mean, as you're reading, you're trying to take in all of the awesome art, which, by the way, Jorge Jimenez knocks it out of the park every time. Look at that Superman. Straight out of the Fleischer cartoons of the 1940s, but still looks very, very much alive and, you know, just full of power. So very great art, very good art. Great is better than good. So yes, very great art. So then we get the side quest type thing with John trying to, well, I guess it's not really a side quest per se. They're just trying to figure out what these, I forget what they're called. I don't know, people from the source wall were telling John through psychic communication. John's kind of refusing to believe what they told him, so they're trying to figure that out. I really hope this is good. This comes out the day after tomorrow, and I'm really hoping Bendis does a good job. Superman #1 was all right. It kind of had a bitter taste because of everything that happened in Man of Steel. I really like this art. Patrick Gleason is a fantastic artist, but I just really hope it's good and not what we've been getting from Bendis. I hope he steps it up. All right, so Jean is explaining to Superman what was happening. Apparently this Martian kept all the memories of the Martians because they all had a connected consciousness, and so they all kind of shared memories and everything. And so this being, she kept track of all of it, I guess. So that's kind of interesting. But she was getting old, so her memory isn't complete. So, you know, there's bits that are missing. So what the people from the giants from the source wall told John could be true. Basically that the end of the world is close and the Justice League caused it and everything like that. So that's kind of the mystery going on here. And John is really getting down on himself, you know, saying, you know, what if everything I've believed about Mars and about my purpose, what if it's all lies? What if I'm leading us all, the whole multiverse, toward destruction? And Superman starts to comfort him and, you know, give him a pat on the back by saying, John, you're worried somehow this is all your fault. Well, we're friends, so believe me when I tell you. And then he gets this really evil look on his face. Look at that. The expressionism there is fantastic. Believe me, it is. You're the doom of everything, so thank you. And of course, John is like, what? What are you saying? And Superman says, no, Martian, not Superman, Luthor. So Luthor has taken over like Superman's mind, and Joker has taken over Jean's mind, essentially. I mean, Jean has more control over his mind than Superman does, so Jean is trying to fight it. But Hawk Girl is still there. She still has her head, but Joker is like, you're welcome. Now can I please cut off a head? Hers, yours, someone's. So that's very something Joker would say, I think. At least the more camo version. And so then Sinestro is basically infusing all of Earth with the ultraviolet power because I guess Earthlings are susceptible to it. Like on one hand, I'm not really a whole fan of humanity looking weak per se. I think humans are actually very resilient, but apparently, you know, the ultraviolet power is overcoming them, everyone on Earth. So, and apparently it's not just Earthlings. There's all these alien species that have been infused with the ultraviolet power, and so now Sinestro leads the largest corps in the entire, or in eternity. So that's he's got quite the army at his command, I suppose. I mean, I guess they're all at his command. I would assume so. So I guess it's not just everyone on Earth. It's, you know, obviously millions of species are, or thousands, whatever, are susceptible to ultraviolet power. There was a quick scene here. Yeah, so he's still fighting Grodd. And it ends with a mind-controlled Superman and a mind-controlled Martian Manhunter getting to the core of the Totality. And apparently they're going to destroy it. The Totality, the multiverse itself, was right in front of them. They needed only to reach out, grab it, and squeeze. Next, Doom takes hold. So, that was a very fun issue. I really actually didn't expect the review to go that long because usually the good ones go quicker. But man, there's just a lot of stuff happening, but it wasn't boring stuff. Like the last issue, it took like about the same time to review it. Well, actually longer to review it, just because there was so much dialogue and there was more stuff that I didn't like. So, you know, I talked about it more. This was just, you know, boom, boom, boom. And it was a really good read. It flowed really well. I was into it. I read it kind of quickly, but not for a lack of content. It's just I wanted to keep reading what was next. And so this was a real page turner, as they say, and I really hope Scott Snyder keeps writing them like this. I really enjoyed it. So that's going to do it for this review. This was my 49th video on YouTube, and I'm almost to 50 videos, which I'm taking as a small success, even though I have yet to create a video that has gotten over 100 views, and I've only broken 20 subscribers once, only to have it go back down to 19 the day after. But you know what? That's okay. I enjoy making these videos, and maybe someday they'll catch on. I know it's a very niche thing that I do, and I'm still looking for ways to broaden it and create videos for a broader audience. But until I figure that out, it'll still be comic book related stuff. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going on a airplane ride tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. So that'll be cool, and I'll let you guys know how that went. Anyway, till the next one, guys. Have a good one. I'll see ya. Bye.